and evacuate their nationals. The only condition we put is that their planes would come empty and then just take the nationals and leave. Nobody has stopped any foreign nation from doing so. But if they want to stay in Kenya, then they are welcome to do so, and we will take care of them in our usual manner of taking care of our guests. As for the contract mass testing, I think I'd alluded to that when I spoke about the manner in which we have started doing this. We will continue to expand. As I said earlier, one of the challenges we have been having is our capacity to take samples. Fortunately for us, part of what we received, is quite a bit of support in our sampling capacity. So we are working on protocols to do so. In fact, today, before we came here, the permanent secretary, the principal secretary, was working at exactly what we are going to do in terms of protocols that will allow us even to be able to do in open areas, even to work in open areas. But we'll do this systematically. We don't just want to walk into a place and without any plan, start testing. We are doing surveillance work today, even in Kibera. We have got a team that is going around with thermograms and just taking temperatures and just trying to see whether there is any concern or whether there is any area, whether there are people that we should be taking further into a testing stage. So it's organized, and we are going to do it in an organized manner for maximum effect.
So as of now, I just walk into Kenyatta and probably I'll have my test quite at stake.
Well, if you walked into Kenyatta and you are showing symptoms and you are looking like you should have a test, then they would. But if you walk in just the way you are now, Ken, I doubt whether they will take you very seriously, because I hope. I wish you the very best. Don't ever go there when you have it. As for Steve, you talked about projections. The projections we are making. We are making projections regarding if we play it the way we are playing it at the moment. If we continue with the testing, with a more improved testing, therefore more isolation, because the more you test, the more you are likely to create quarantine facilities and isolation facilities. If we do that, then we have a projection where then the growth in the numbers will not be the growth that we have seen in other countries. I think it is important to appreciate the following, that at the time we are now on the day 33, some of the countries that that are experiencing very, very serious situations had not even started testing. Forget about us who have done 5,000, 8,000 people or so. Some of those countries had not started testing. At the same time as we are in today, I think Spain had tested something like 5,400 people, as opposed to our now going towards 9,000. And by tomorrow, I'm sure we'll hit the 10,000 figure. So what we are saying is that because of different activities in different countries, we can only be able to say what we can see from our own nation and compare perhaps with similar actions in other countries. Korea being a good example of what we are doing is very close to what they did. But let's not also forget that Korea did experience, a substantial amount of positive cases. So the figures depend on what we do. Worst case scenarios, there are scenarios that have looked at us and said that we are going to have 2-3 million positive cases if we do not do what we are supposed to do. And on the other hand, there are people who say if we continue, then we could easily, just continue the same path and hopefully at some point just taper down. But that's the best case scenario, assuming that a Kenyan is as disciplined as Steve. But when they are not, purity on inter-county movement. As you know, we have discouraged movement anyway. We have said, forget even about being told by the government that you stay at home. You should stay at home for your own safety. given the circumstances that are out there. I have said, and I'll repeat, assume that the next person that you are meeting, the person you are talking to, the person you are engaging with, is positive. I have said that, and I repeat it again. When you make that assumption, your behavior automatically changes, because you begin to see how important it is to protect yourself. So we have not banned inter-county, cross-county movements at the moment, but that is at the moment. The situation, as the situation evolves, then the measures that we take will also evolve. But right now, we haven't done it. As for the situation on the masks, we have spoken about this subject almost every day, and said that there are standards that KEBS has set up for production of masks. And I'm glad to say that there are numerous organizations now that are making masks, and selling them all the way from 5 shillings to 15 shillings, and some very sophisticated ones, to 50 shillings and so on and so forth. I can tell you that mine, this one is about 5 bob, and when you wear one with 5 bob and to top up with your patriotism, then it's a good call. So what I'm saying is that the measures should include and will include how you handle the mask. Because you can't go holding a mask with dirty hands and then hawking it to somebody. Ideally, it should be in a pack so that nobody else is going to touch it except yourself. The beauty of some of these masks, especially the cloth ones, is that they are reusable. And you can buy it and wash it before you use it. So that if you have got the one you have now, Purity, you can take one of these, use that one today, wash this one, it's clean, and then you can use it tomorrow, because we are aware that part of the handling of masks is not hygienic. But you'll continue to improve and tell people on how to handle these masks. I've just told you that don't just go buying a mask from a person who is looking dirty, a person who is not who you can see is not washing their hands. Don't buy, because it is dangerous to do so. As far as gatherings are concerned, we still maintain exactly the same position, that we do not want to see any gatherings. It is against the law now to do so, to call for gatherings. And we have expressed the reason why. And we know that it is bearing fruit. I mean, one of the things that I would like you to ponder about is that we have had, as I've just mentioned, over 200 cases in the country. Now, imagine that all those 200 cases had been out there in the streets, each person affecting at least 4 people instantly, and each of the 4 people affecting another 4 people. So you can imagine how that would be. And suppose you are in a gathering. You know very well what happened in Kilifi, because of one person going to a gathering in a funeral, and you know the numbers that grew out of that. You are also aware of the Kitui one and what happened. You are also aware of the Siaya one and what happened. So it is self-explanatory, really. And the reasons for avoiding gatherings is obvious. Internationally, we know that in Italy and in Korea, those numbers grew because of gatherings in religious, gatherings. So I would just like to state that this is something that our communities must work to avoid. And our communities must call out whenever they see something like that happening. So thank you very much. Which is that one? Oh, yes. Okay. Well, yeah, you can see me, you can talk to me later about that one. But They are all over. They are all over the place. There are about 600 people now who are making masks. For the last count that we got, 600 of them. So we should be able to get even a cheaper one. On the issue of the World Health Organization, this obviously is an issue of concern to those of us in Kenya, because the minute you hear that the World Health Organization is pressed, obviously we begin to get concerned. And we hope, we have not had any reduction in our association with the WHO. As you have just heard me say, they are the ones who are continuing to assist us. We are also aware that the UK has also given the WHO a substantial amount of money. But of course, we would be concerned about the operational capacities. But the WHO has not in itself, pronounced itself on this issue. And therefore, we hope and trust that these are issues that are being discussed at that level. And hopefully, some form of agreement will be met, because the United States is an important. The United States is a very important part of the global funding mechanism. As for the counties, I think I answered that question, because what I said was that we are not closing the boundaries. And this is specifically because when we analyze the data, we analyze it from an origin, where one comes from, not where one was tested. So that if here there is a case from from Nyeri, probably one originated from there, got tested here in Nairobi, and is listed as a Nyeri case. But chances are that they were tested here in Nairobi, because a lot of those counties do not even have testing capacity. Thank you very much.